Welcome to the Around the Storage Block podcast. I'm your host, HPE storage guy Calvin Zito. This is podcast number 223. Today's the biggest HPE 3-part store serve announcement since we launched the 7000 family over 4 years ago. In this podcast, I'll be talking about a new 3-part OS 3.3.1 and a lot of new features. Over the next several days, I will have subject matter experts that will dive deeper into what I'll briefly highlight in this podcast. So if you want to learn more, head over to Around the Storage Block blog at hpe.com/storage/blog, and you can learn a lot more about what I'll talk about here briefly. Flash is changing the data center, and I talked about this in a Chalk Talk back in November. I don't have time to review it here, but I do want to kind of highlight what we think are the new requirements of the all-flash data center. There's 4 of them. Apps. Think performance and workloads. Ops is about operational efficiency through simplifying. Risks. Here it's about minimizing risks across compute, storage, and networking. And then finally, investments. And this is about implementing the right strategy. And it starts with investing in a timeless storage architecture that enables you to adapt. The enhancements I'm going to talk about fit nicely into these requirements, so let's go ahead and talk about them. First, under investment choice. We have HPE 3-part adaptive data reduction. What makes our adaptive data reduction story so unique is that we drive up capacity efficiency for industry-leading flash density without sacrificing performance. Adaptive data reduction is an umbrella term that describes the technologies in HPE 3-part designed to reduce the footprint of data. That includes zero detect and deduplication, both of which we've had. Now with the latest 3-part OS, we're adding compression and data packing. We're seeing an average of 4-to-1 savings from adaptive data reduction. And I also have a podcast number 224 that will dive really deep into adaptive data reduction with Phil Gilbert from our 3-part product management team, so check that out. There's 3-part all-inclusive software licensing. When we acquired 3-part nearly 7 years ago, 3-part had about 1,200 software SKUs. 5 years ago, we significantly simplified it. Now we're taking it all the way with all-inclusive software licensing. Every 3-part system now ships with all the features for a single array. If you have a multi-array disaster recovery environment, there's a multi-system software option, a software like remote copy, peer motion, and peer persistence. The result is significantly easier licensing and cost savings as high as 30% dollars per gigabytes of usable capacity for an all-flash array. Next is online import support for EMC DMX. With our online import, you can migrate from DMX to 3-part without any additional hardware in 5 steps. And of course, we also have online import for EMC VMAX, VNX, and Clarion, as well as for HDS and IBM storage. 7-year SSD wear-out support. I believe we're the only vendor that delivers an unconditional 5-year warranty for every HPE 3-part store-serve SSD. We're now adding a 7-year wear-out and electronic failure replacement for all 3-part 8000 and 20,000 SSDs with a valid HPE support agreement. 3D cache with Intel. We had a tech preview of this at Discover in London. This is important to emphasize again because it shows that 3-part is an enduring architecture. As 3-part can easily support new technologies like storage class memory and NVMe. Moving on to the next category of data center requirements for all flash, mitigating risks. The first feature I'll mention is enhanced 3-part persistent checksum. This software provides HBA to data disk integrity, and with this latest version, we are now able to support more HBAs and operating systems. It's a huge advantage for 3-part because we're the only ones who can do this for any workload and be completely transparent to apps and hosts. 3 data center peer persistence, or we call it 3DC peer persistence. Peer persistence enables 3-part systems located in different data centers at metropolitan distances to act as peers to each other, presenting continuous storage system access to hosts connected to them. This means you get automatic recovery by stretching VMware vSphere, Microsoft Hyper-V, SQL, Oracle, and other cluster-aware services over multiple locations. We're now adding support for a 3rd tertiary site for the highest levels of high availability and disaster recovery. This is ideal for geographically distant disaster recovery. And we can do it at 1/3 of the cost as EMC because they need recovery point, vPlex, and additional InfiniBand switches with Extreme I/O. With 3-part, it's all built in. 3-2-1 application data protection for 3-part. 3 is 3 copies of data, 2 is on 2 different medium, and 1 copy off-site. And this all starts with Recovery Manager Central, or RMC. RMC augments traditional backup approaches, combining the performance of snapshots with the protection of backups. In other words, RMC orchestrates snapshots from 3PAR and moves them to store once, creating synthetic full backups, giving you application-consistent protection for SAP HANA, Oracle, SQL, and VMware. There's Store Once Catalyst integration with data protection ISVs like our own Data Protector, and a deepening relationship with Veeam, which is now available worldwide through HPE. Data protected on HPE Store Once systems can now be replicated to the cloud thanks to Microsoft Azure support for HP Store Once VSA software. This latest version of RMC is RMC 4.0, and what's new with version 4.0? Support for SAP HANA, Store Virtual VSA, and running RMC on Hyper-V. I also mentioned support for Store Once VSA with Microsoft Azure. This is huge and gives you a great option for offsite protection and archiving. And then there's one more new feature with RMC 4.0 that I really want to highlight. That's HPE Pure Copy. We're realizing our vision of bidirectional replication between 3PAR and Store Virtual with HPE Pure Copy. This means without a hardware appliance, you can now replicate data between 3PAR and Store Virtual VSA. You can either have manual or scheduled replication. It's efficient replication of changes in a crash-consistent snapshot, all orchestrated by RMC 4.0. I think this is unique in the industry and really bridges the software-defined and system-defined storage. And I have a Chalk Talk that goes deeper into this topic as well. The next all-flash data center requirement is OPS, or Operational Simplicity, and here we have HPE 3PAR Store Serve Management Console, or SSMC 3.0. There's too much to talk about here in terms of what's new, lots of features, and really making it easier to use. I hope to have an SSMC demo in the near future, so watch for them. And then there's Storefront Remote. I hope to have some demos on this in the near future. This is a great complement to SSMC because it delivers anytime, anywhere storage analytics. The benefit for 3PAR customers is that you get unique insights from storage analytics based on configuration data to make better data center decisions. You also get advisories with recommendations and remediation actions, as well as proactive wellness, which helps you fix problems before they occur. HPE Smart SAN 2.0 for 3PAR. Smart SAN reduces the steps for SAN zoning by 80% and reduces the time by 99%. This latest release supports 3PAR Federation, expanded ecosystem, and diagnostics, and is integrated with SSMC 3.1. And under the last category of app acceleration, we'll start with 3PAR iSCSI enhancements. The 3PAR OS 3.3.1 release has iSCSI enhancements, and it starts with Express Writes. Express Writes is a feature we've talked about before on the blog. It was available for Fiber Channel, but now we are now making it available for iSCSI, and with this feature you get a 2x improvement in performance. There's also enhanced multi-tenancy support, as well as a new combo HBA that gives us greater port density for block and file storage. And lastly, with all the enhancements I want to talk about today, we're going to mention the 3PAR file persona. First, let me remind you that the 3PAR file persona is now included with the all-inclusive licensing. There are 5 areas to touch on. Improve file sharing with NTFS security mode and cross-protocol locking. Immutable data with file locking to meet enterprise governance. 2 times the scale with 64 TIB file provisioning groups, and that's 4 times greater than EMC VNX system size. Better availability with online file system utility check that complements inherent file system integrity, and programmatic management via the Web Services API to automate provisioning and management tasks. Now, when I first saw what was included in the latest 3PAR OS, I was overwhelmed with everything in it, and you probably are too. But not to worry, like I said, we have upcoming blog posts from our experts helping you to better understand all the cool things we've done with this huge announcement. You can learn more about 3PAR at hpe.com/storage/3PAR. You can find me on Twitter as Calvin Zito, and you can find our blog at hpe.com/storage/blog. Until next time, thanks for joining me.